Hi, my name's Drew, and welcome to the second part of Tankovyi Desant. For those of you that watched part 1, it was just a video with no voiceover from myself. I'd like to thank people that have provided some feedback, especially around the fact that they found it rather disjointed just looking at videos with no voice backup, and they found it hard to understand my tactics, my disposition of forces, the approaches from the enemy, etc. So I just thought I'd spend a little while to explain to you where we are currently with this particular scenario. As I said, this is part 2 of what will probably be a 3 or 4 part series of videos, and this is just after the initial contact has been made between my straggler force of German units and approaching advanced Russian forces who are trying to take the central bridge that you can see here on the map. We're expected to hold this bridge for approximately 5 hours in order for retreating panzers to cross. This is the only possible crossing stroke fording points in the area across a tributary of the Berezina River. We're expecting any possible Russian attack to come from an easterly direction, which is actually at the top of the map as you look. We hold the western bank of the river, and we have target reference points which I've already placed at the main fording points and crossing points, and also at the what I will call the eastern farmhouse towards the top of the map. My forces, as you can see, are made up of pretty much a hodgepodge of German forces that have spent the last few days fighting a retreating action to the east of Minsk. I have at my disposal a combination of infantry supported by 3 Stug 3G assault guns, and I've tried to place my forces with, I guess, an idea of covering what I think will be the main approach points by the Russian forces. On my left flank, I've positioned a sniper unit. They actually are providing overwatch, looking across to the eastern side of the riverbank. This area, I'm not expecting armour to attack from a Russian point of view. There is good cover and concealment with the woods encroaching down towards the river, but this particular area of the map is quite heavily marshy, so it'd be very difficult for armour to cross without getting bogged down. So my sniper unit on the left flank is there just to keep an eye open for any Russian forces that may approach from that direction. If they do so, I'm not expecting it to be armour, but probably just infantry, maybe with armour supporting from the tree line. Towards the centre, the bulk of my forces are infantry squads that I've split down into 2 teams. They're dug in foxholes, and I've given all of my units a very short cover arc command. I'd prefer that my units didn't give away their positions immediately, so I can actually see how the Russians, if they arrive, will deploy their forces and which avenues of attack they will actually take. the very right hand side of my force on the right flank, I've positioned a heavy machine gun. This machine gun is going to be able to provide enfilading fire towards the bridge and the right hand crossing point. I feel that these particular areas are the most likely areas that the Russians will use as avenues of approach. I also have a mortar squad towards the centre of the map, and they are zeroed in at all of the target reference points and are supported by a light machine gun and one of the Stugs. They have a good arc of fire looking down the entire length of the bridge, and the remaining two Stugs are in hull down or concealed areas, and their job will be to move forward, just pop up, take a couple of shots and then disappear again back behind any ridge lines, back to their safety of a hull down position. We also have a Panzerschreck team and a tank hunter team armed with Panzerfaust 30s. They're covering the right hand crossing point, and their job will just be to harass and take out enemy armour that provide targets of opportunity. So, key terrain. If we look from the centre of the map, directly up where you can see a plume of smoke from one of the T-34s that a Stug took out in part 1 of this video, I feel that key terrain is what I will call the double ridge in that area. From a Russian point of view, they have good elevation and fields of fire from that ridge line, and if they're careful they could also use their tanks in a hull down position and provide suppressing fire for any infantry that they use to attack the crossing points. The second key terrain point is the farmhouse, which I'll call the Eastern Farmhouse. Again, good sight lines and a good base of fire. And finally we have what I will call the right hand hill, which again they could occupy the tree line and from an elevated position provide supporting fire as they attempt to take the crossing points. Avenues of approach, I expect potentially 3. One on our left flank where the sniper unit is currently positioned. As I said earlier, I'd only expect infantry to be approaching from this direction. The tree line does encroach close to the tributary, which would be good cover for the attacking Russian forces, but armour I feel would be very difficult to cross at this point because of the marshy area on our left flank. Another avenue of approach would be from the double ridge and the Eastern Farmhouse towards the crossing point just to the left of the bridge as we look, also the bridge itself, and potentially a crossing point to the immediate right of the bridge where the majority of my forces are concentrated. I've placed most of my forces in this area because I feel this is probably going to be the main thrust of the Russian attack. However, another avenue of approach could be from the right hand hill towards the little island that is in the tributary, and for that reason I've positioned my tank hunter team and my Panzerschreck team and one of the Stugs further back in the wooded area in a hold down position. If the Russians do decide to press down my right flank, their left, using this avenue of approach from the right hand hill, I feel that I've got enough forces in the area to at least slow down, if not stop, that attack. Passing engineers on their way retreating through our holding force actually donated very kindly some telemines as well, which I have placed at the entrance to the bridge from a Russian point of view. So if any armour is going to attempt to cross the bridge directly, they may get a surprise or two. So again, I'd like to thank the people that watched part 1 of this scenario, and I hope now that I've provided a voiceover with an explanation as to why I've placed my forces where they are, the tactics I'm expecting to use, and the key terrain areas and avenues of approach that I'm expecting the enemy forces to take. I hope this has provided you with a little bit more insight going forward for when you watch the remaining videos.